Ja, ik zie het signaal. Goedemorgen allemaal. Hartelijk welkom. Weer een webinar van JSR. De laatste voor de zomervakantie. Een deel van Nederland is al op zomervakantie. Het is hier aan het regenen, dus ik hoop dat die mensen een beter plekje hebben dan waar ik zit. Project en Portfoliomanagement was nog nooit zo eenvoudig. We doen deze vandaag samen met Ivan Lloyd. Ivan is at the other side of the ocean. And he'll introduce himself in a short while.
Thank you, Ruud, and it's thanks very much for the invite to present today. So, Ivan Lloyd, I work for Edison 365. I head up innovation here. We're an end-to-end product company that delivers value around the whole business transformation process. I'm going to focus on project delivery today.
Yeah, sounds good. And now I need to switch my slide deck, which is having a problem. Let me check. It's always a small glitch. It's up and running. Yeah, this is better. Sorry, turn into Dutch for the audience. Agenda voor vandaag. Welkom in de introductie. Daarna gaan we kijken naar welke smaken zijn er nou eigenlijk om project- en portfolio-management te doen. Daarna neemt Ivan ons mee in een oplossing Edison 365 Projects, waar we een demo van hebben. Gedurende het verhaal dat ik vertel, kunnen jullie vragen stellen. Op het moment dat Ivan het overneemt, ga ik de diepte in de vragen. Kan ik die beantwoorden? Als ik ze niet direct kan beantwoorden, dan probeer ik ze gedurende de sessie met Ivan te stellen. Ja, weet je, en ik wil jullie uiteraard even voorstellen. Mijn naam is Ruud Peltzer. Ik werk bij JSR als marketing en sales manager. Nou ja, ik loop al 20 jaar in de PPM vakgebied rond. En zoals ik zei, the other side is Ivan Lloyd. Ivan is Chief Innovation Officer at Edison. And he's doing this session together. First part in Dutch, which is a challenge for Ivan. But I think, let's say, the topic is fully understandable. And I think the demo is in English, which is okay. I know Ivan for a while. He talks great. He knows his business and can tell a great story. So I think that's for now. Anything from you, Ivan?
I think that's very generous. Thank you for that, Ruud.
Sounds good. And we help customers making steps. So Ivan in the UK, we in the Netherlands, help organizations move forward. I work for JSR and we focus, in Nederlands, op 3 topics. Samenwerken aan innovatie, which we do with Edison 365 IDs. Of SharePoint Online kunnen we daarvoor gebruiken. Het slimmer werken met Microsoft 365. En de derde poot is eigenlijk het project- en portfolio stuk waar we nu zo meteen naar gaan kijken. En alles wat we doen, doen we op basis van communiceren en huisstijl. Dus alles wat we doen, de tools richten we in met die huisstijl van een organisatie. Het samenwerken in teams kunnen we ondersteunen met een stukje huisstijl. En ook het portfolio stuk, de rapportages, de dashboards kunnen we allemaal in huisstijl aanbieden. Nou, wat we gemerkt hebben de afgelopen maanden, uiteraard met de corona, is de moderne werkplek. We zijn allemaal overgegaan naar Teams. We hebben daar stappen gemaakt. We hebben dat ook bij meerdere partners gezien van we zijn overgegaan naar deze nieuwe manier van samenwerken. Camera's delen we en dat is eigenlijk geen probleem meer. Dus we zien elkaar, we bellen met elkaar. Je merkt dat dat voordelen heeft, uiteraard ook wel wat nadelen van fysiek contact, met elkaar om de tafel zitten om koffie te drinken is nog wel een stukje een uitdaging. Maar je ziet dat Teams is echt waar een boost geweest voor het samenwerken, het videobellen, chatten, ook voor dit soort events. Seminars zijn toch nog wel een beetje uit de boze, daar beginnen we nu langzaam naartoe te gaan. Maar je ziet dat Teams verhaal, ja, weet je, de verbindende factor is. Hoe kun je als team goed samenwerken? En daar wil ik eigenlijk ook, nou ja, weet je, de komende minuten even over vertellen van hoe je met Teams en de ondersteuning van Project meters kan maken. Nou ja, laten we zeggen van de moderne werkplek die bestaat uit allerlei apps. Word, Excel, Outlook, Planner, Project voor de Web, Power BI, OneDrive. Er zit van alles in. En de uitdaging is om dat bij elkaar te brengen, om als organisatie stappen te maken. In het proces, in de overzichten. En daar helpen wij en ook Edison helpt daarbij om klanten die stap te maken. Nou, welke opties zijn er? Als je nou goed kijkt, dan zijn er binnen het werken in projecten zijn er een 3-tal opties die binnen teams gebruikt kunnen worden. En de 4e optie, die laat Ivan zo meteen zien. Maar er zijn 3 opties. Planner, Project voor de Web en Project Online. Dat zijn eigenlijk de smaken die Microsoft aanbiedt om stappen in te maken. En waarom? wil je stappen maken, dat zei ik net al, omdat je een efficiënt proces wil doen. En eigenlijk dat efficiënt proces wordt hier vormgegeven in het portfolio funnel, zodat je van ideeën naar ID management, naar business case, naar de projectexecutie, naar de baten, de benefits komt. Je wil een organisatie meenemen in dat proces en zorgen dat dat proces zo optimaal mogelijk loopt. En dat is een van de doelen die je wil bereiken met slim project- en portfoliomanagement. Hoe kom je nou aan die goede ideeën? Hoe zorg je dat die ideeën omgezet worden naar echt concrete innovaties of projecten? Dat daar een business case van is, dat je die projecten netjes uitvoert en uiteindelijk ook nog eens terugkijkt van wat hebben we nou gerealiseerd en wat heeft het opgeleverd. Dat is een passie van mij. Alle jaren dat ik in dit vakgebied loop, wil je graag dat projecten uiteindelijk ergens aan bijdragen. Die benefits, die wil je meten, die wil je zien, die wil je voelen. Nou, dat is een van de uitdagingen en doelen die je wil bereiken met het PPM-proces. En uiteindelijk is natuurlijk ook een doel, is het integrale overzicht. En ik denk dat met de beweging die Microsoft maakt, en zometeen Edison 365 Projects ook laat zien, is dat je naar dat integrale overzicht wil komen. Weten welke projecten er leven, weten welke ideeën of innovaties er spelen. En dat wordt 9 van de 10 keer inmiddels in het Microsoft-platform met Power BI gedaan. Hier zie je een voorbeeldje. Hier brengen we Planner, Project voor de Web en Project Online. De 3 elementen brengen we samen om het totale dashboard te zien. Dus de organisatie kan elke tool gebruiken die maar voorhanden is. Maar binnen het rapport komt al die informatie inzichtelijk. En daarmee heb je dus een integraal overzicht. Nou, dat kun je ook doen met een roadmap, zoals dat mooi heet. Ook een functionaliteit van Microsoft, de standaard functionaliteit, die inzichtelijk maakt welke projecten lopen er nou binnen strategische pilaren. En eventueel daar de meetings, de portfolio board meetings erbij inplaatsen, zodat je kunt zien als organisatie, oké, waar zitten we op onze roadmap, wat loopt goed, wat loopt achter. Dat zijn dus de 2 pilaren. Dus de eerste is gewoon optimaliseren van een proces, een werkproces, een portfolioproces. En de tweede is het overzicht krijgen, het integrale overzicht krijgen. Die 4 opties die ik net benoemde, of het waren er 3, er komt er 4 bij. Dat zijn dus Planner, Project voor de Web, Project Online. Daar duik ik zo meteen even in. En Ivan neemt het Edison 365 Projects voor zijn rekening. 1 demo, dus de demo van Edison Projects. Ik laat dat plaatje zien. En je moet het eigenlijk zo zien, de eerste 3 zijn Microsoft oplossingen en Edison 365 Project is een 100% Microsoft oplossing, maar komt van Edison 365. Wat je ziet is, Planner is voor klussen, voor de samenwerking in Teams en is een onderdeel van Teams. Het is een app binnen Microsoft Teams. Project voor de Web, de meest recente functionaliteit van Microsoft, die ondersteunt meer functionaliteit op het gebied van Kanban, is flexibeler. Is wel vol in ontwikkeling, dus is op sommige punten nog niet zo ver als dat bijvoorbeeld Project Online al is. En is ook vanaf de volgende release beschikbaar binnen Teams als app. En Project Online, dat is eigenlijk degene waar we in het verleden eigenlijk alles mee deden. Die is nog steeds beschikbaar, maar die draait als webapp binnen Microsoft Teams. Mooie functionaliteit, rijke functionaliteit. Portfolio management, resources en uren, zit er allemaal in. Het ID-management stuk zit er ook in. Maar wat je wel merkt is, het is een webapp. Dus daar zul je een iets mindere mooie integratie hebben. Maar voor organisaties die echt gefocust zijn op planningen, is het wel een geweldige tool. Is de nummer 1 tool om projecten te plannen, is het wel de nummer 1 tool. En het leuke van dan de 4e die we zo meteen zien is dat Edison 365 Projects een eigen planning heeft, maar met al deze entiteiten kan samenwerken. Dus het overal plaatje kun je in Edison 365 Projects krijgen. Planner, de meeste zijn jullie daarvan denk ik wel bekend, zit in Teams. Dus het voordeel is van Teams, Project voor de Web en ook Edison Project, dat ze binnen Teams opgehangen kunnen worden. En daarmee ook de functionaliteiten die jullie aan de linkerkant van jullie scherm zien, de chat, documenten, de agenda, kunnen bellen. Je hebt een oplossing niet alleen voor de planningen, het beheer van projecten, maar ook voor de communicatie. Het team kan chatten. En je merkt dat dit voor klanten heel waardevol is. Je ziet hier voorbereiding, uitvoering, afronding. Dus je bent gefaseerd aan het werk. Het werk met kaartjes, die kun je verslepen. Functionaliteiten zijn wel wat beperkt. Urenregistratie, resource management, dat zit er niet in. Maar je kunt wel zien wie waaraan werkt. Gert-Jan werkt aan deze items, daar is hij mee klaar of is hij mee bezig. Frans Vrolijk werkt aan deze functionaliteiten. Dus je hebt allerlei manieren om inzicht te krijgen in de taken die er binnen het team zitten. Het is niet de manier waarop wij zeggen projectmanagement vindt plaats. Maar het is wel een eerste stap om te zien van oké, ik heb grip, ik weet wat er deze week en wat volgende week staat. Wordt goed ervaren, er zitten mooie grafiekjes zitten erbij. Dus daarmee een basis is gelegd. En dit zien we bij veel organisaties als eerste stap om grip te krijgen op projecten. Nou, als dat niet voldoet, heeft Microsoft, ik denk 1,5 jaar geleden, Project for the Web beschikbaar gesteld. En met Project for the Web heb je binnen diezelfde teamsomgeving allereerst 3 manieren om naar dat project te kijken. Dat is een grid, eigenlijk gewoon een mooie Excel sheet, een lijstjes, snel taken kunnen toevoegen, ze kunnen subtaken kunnen maken, voortgang kunnen melden, hoeveel uren, wie eraan werkt. Het mooie hiervan is, het is allemaal met Microsoft Active Directory gekoppeld, dus ik zie de plaatjes van mijn collega's. Een grid, de Gantt, de techniek uit, ik meen 1912. En de laatste is een Kanban-bord. En daar zie je van, ja, hier zit de herkenning ook weer met planner in. Er zit iets meer functionaliteit in. En het mooie van dit concept is dat ze alle 3 met elkaar samenwerken. Dus als ik hier wat aanpas, heeft het effect op, laten we zeggen, de Gantt-chart, heeft het effect op de grid. Dus het is een totale oplossing. Dus kies hoe je je project wil aanvliegen. En ik denk dat dat het belangrijkste is. Support the organization and the people working in projects with the suitable solution. And I think, Ivan, you couldn't agree more with that.
Yeah, agreed.
And let's say the last one with the presentation I have is, met Project Online, is een hele rijke functionaliteit. Project Online is een hele rijke planningsfunctionaliteit. Daar zit eigenlijk alles op en aan. Je kunt er eigenlijk alles mee, dus we rollen er bij heel veel organisaties nog steeds uit. En je ziet eigenlijk dat Project for the Web, wat ik jullie net liet zien, de volgende stap is. Meer naar dat platformdenken wat Microsoft voor ogen heeft. Microsoft neemt ons met Microsoft 365 mee naar het Azure-platform. Alles draait in de cloud bij Microsoft. Project Online draait nog op een eigen database en alle nieuwe ontwikkelingen vinden in de CDS plaats. Of de CDS. En daarin wordt alle data verzameld met het grote voordeel dat die informatie er ook op een makkelijke manier uit te halen is. Maar Project Online is nog bij veel klanten gewoon de voorkeur tool. Wat zit er allemaal in? Je kunt ideeën opvoeren. Dus je kunt zorgen dat alle goede ideeën worden toegevoegd. Dat je daar scoring op doet. Nou, alles wat je wil. Het planning onderdeel is eigenlijk de kracht van Microsoft Project Online. Dus wat je ziet is, als mensen gewend zijn met project te werken en planningen maken, dan is Project Online de logische vervolgstap. Waarom? Het verbindt al die losse projecten en al die losse resource aanvragen met elkaar. En zorgt weer voor dat overzicht waar we het net over hadden. Ja. En uiteindelijk binnen Project Online zit ook een portfoliomanagement functionaliteit en een scenario planning functionaliteit. Om te bepalen welke projecten je nou wel en welke je nou niet kan doen. In dit voorbeeld, dit is een simpel screenshot, hebben we 8 miljoen. Het totale budget was 12 miljoen. We krijgen maar 8 miljoen. Je ziet dat er projecten uit de scenario gaan. De groene zijn de geselecteerde, de grijze niet geselecteerde. En ik heb een project erin geduwd, omdat het management of de directie graag die dijkversterking van de polder wou hebben. Of dat die noodzakelijk was. Dus binnen Project Online kun je heel goed scenario planning doen en die vergelijken maken. Dat zit standaard al in de functionaliteit. Wat levert je een overzicht van welke projecten er lopen met wat stoplichtjes en inzichten. En dat is eigenlijk wat we iedere keer doen. En doordat Microsoft steeds meer functionaliteiten biedt, heb je meerdere opties. Dus eenvoudige projecten kun je ondersteunen, complexe projectplanningen kun je ondersteunen. En dat informatie wil je graag bij elkaar brengen. Het stukje resource management zit in Project Online. Dus de aanvraag, de toewijzing vergt wel enige ervaring met project. Maar als dit goed werkt, wij hebben SAP-klanten die hiermee weglopen. Heeft wel mee te maken dat je dus mensen hebt die een planningskwaliteit hebben en ook een resource planningsfunctionaliteit invullen in het systeem. Dus we krijgen een verzoek vanuit projecten, we wijzen toe, dan werkt Project Online heel erg goed. Nou, uiteindelijk wat je ziet is dat het PPM-proces, het portfolio-management project en portfolio-management proces heel veel verschillende functionaliteiten biedt. Die hebben we hier in een waaier hebben we die gepresenteerd. En wat wij eigenlijk bij klanten doen en ook Edison bij klanten doet, is oké, welke behoeften zijn er nou om stappen te maken? Om te zorgen dat we weet je, de juiste eerste stap maken. Je moet groeien in dit proces. Weet je wel, van stapje voor stapje professionaliseren. Daar zitten allerlei Microsoft functionaliteiten bij. En dat zorgt dat je met elkaar spart over, oké, waar staat een organisatie? Welke stappen wil je maken? Is urenregistratie belangrijk? Is gewoon het projectinzicht belangrijk? En daarmee kom je tot een palet van inrichting die past bij de organisatie. En de functionaliteiten die Microsoft biedt, we hebben Planner, we hebben Project Online. We hebben al verschillende klanten die met Project Online het overzicht beheren en de taken in Planner doen. En het is dus zoeken naar die juiste oplossing. En uiteindelijk als je die gevonden hebt, is dan ook zorgen dat dit via Power BI goed beschikbaar komt voor het management, voor een afdeling. Welke projecten lopen er? Waar zien we bottlenecks? Waar zien we uitdagingen? Ja, en dat zorgt voor ons een heel leuk traject, want je bent een klant echt aan het helpen te professionaliseren. De tool is in die zin niet heilig dat we maar één tool hebben, maar we hebben een suite van oplossingen. And I think that's really important for the next step is we have the solutions from Microsoft. We have the experiences with keeping it as simple as possible and a user-friendly environment. And that's why during different sessions we implemented Edison 365 with some customers, got enthusiastic feedback. And that's basically why we invited Ivan to do a session together. And that's why I shifted to English. So now Ivan knows he can take over with the slides. And I think I'm handing it over to the other side of the channel and hand it over to you, Ivan.
So thank you so much for that, Ruud. It's always so embarrassing being English and not being able to speak any other languages. But so I really appreciate you swapping over there at that point.
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. And you know, let's say the Dutch are a international set of people. So we adapt. We're flexible. So we would love to have you, and we have you on the show.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm so looking forward to being able to get back in person. Actually, to be fair.
Yeah.
But, So thanks for the introduction. Essentially, I'm going to talk through a couple of slides and then actually show you through the solution set so you can really get a picture of it.
Yeah.
So if we take a look at just a very basic overview here about who we are. So Edison 365 is a software solution, but what I'd say is it's a modular one in that we don't just deal with the project management side of things, which is clearly what I'm going to talk about today, but actually Edison is an end-to-end solution for delivering what we call business transformation. So that's what we relate to as a whole. So it's not just about the delivery of the benefit at the end of the cycle. It's actually about initiating that transformation in the first place. I'll talk about that a little bit more in the next slide. But before we leave here, before we leave here, one last thing to say is that everything we do is built deliberately on the Microsoft Cloud. When we set out to design our solution set right at the beginning, we looked Office 365 was actually really in its early days, but we recognized that it had the capability to become the standard for everybody. So we set out at that point in time to build our platform on top of it and leverage the benefits that would provide. And so when we talk through things, and when I'm talking about our solution set, we're leveraging things like Microsoft Teams, Power BI for reporting, Yammer for conversations if you use that, and if you want to use that, SharePoint for document storage, Project Online in places if customers have that. And above all, what we're talking about here is Edison is sitting in your Office 365 tenant. It's not sitting in ours. So we're not storing the data. You're not buying another cloud. It's all in your current Office installation.
Yeah, that's for us the main reason, Ivan, that we took you on, because this makes life so much easier. Instead of a, let's say, other solution, it's within this environment. So let's say for us, it's quite easy to take you on because it follows the rules and the governance of an organization.
Yeah, so we find typically IT love us as a solution because of the fact we're leveraging investments they've already made.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next slide, what we have is just a very simplistic picture of business transformation. So don't quote me as this being, you know, the be all and end all of business transformation, but we've broken it down into 5 simple stages that organizations typically would undertake. Going from left to right, strategy is all around what is it as a business that we're actually trying to achieve at a high level, and typically this is set by the board. From strategy, we move into what we call ideation. So this is really around driving new thinking, new solutions that align to the strategy that we've set out as a business. And that whole front end piece there is delivered with our module called Edison 365 Ideas. So ideas is all around setting challenges, engaging internal stakeholders, but also actually engaging anybody. So our ideation tool will work with the general public, will work with your supply chain, will work with your customers. You can set them challenges, gather their ideas, work out which ones are actually going to bring you benefit. So that's the first module.
Yeah, and that's a broader audience, I guess. Let's say from the project perspective, project portfolio management, it's a broader audience.
Absolutely right. So typically that type of solution is engaged within an entire business. It's every single person with it, because you don't know where the great idea is going to come from, right? It's not, you can't say, oh, John's the person who's going to have all the ideas. It could be anyone, and you need to engage everybody within the organization. So yeah, much wider audience.
Okay. Yeah.
We then move through. Imagine at this point in time that you've got things that you believe are going to make a difference to your business. You've done your initial, what we call triage or look at them, evaluation. What you then would typically do as a business is actually work out, really, are these viable? And this is the justification phase, or you might, in project management world, you'll think of the business case process. So this is around, I've got something I'm thinking of doing. How much is it going to cost? What resources am I going to require? What benefits is it going to bring? What's it going to deliver? How long is it going to take? And so the module in the middle is our business case module, and it's really about taking everything you're thinking of doing and enabling you to build structured business cases, evaluate them in line with each other, workflow them through a business process, and work out which ones actually are going to deliver the value and you can afford to do and have the resources and so on. So that's the module in between. And actually, when you work with businesses, typically that process is undertaken in lots of different systems. It's very hard for an organization to get an overall picture of what's going on, to work out what money's needed, what resources needed, where the priorities are. You'll find the same thing being done in different areas of a business because they don't know about it. So the business case centralizes and standardizes all that information.
Okay.
And then the last module, I guess, is where this audience is more familiar. This is all around delivery. So once you've worked out things you want to do, clearly you've got to deliver them. And this is the traditional project management remit. So yeah, time, quality, cost, Gantt charts, task boards, risk, issues, change, all of those things that I'm sure everyone's super familiar with. And our projects module is absolutely focused on that. But there's one thing that it deals with that typically organizations are really poor at, and this is really sweeping in my statement, benefit realization. When I speak at conferences about benefit realization, what I find is 100% of the audience believe they should be doing it. 99% of the audience aren't doing it effectively. It's a really small percentage that understand the benefit realization process. So we've worked really hard on giving companies visibility of all those benefits they set out to deliver, and actually being able to manage them post-project completion, so you can work out what's happening and what value you've driven. So that's the end-to-end process. Last slide, and what this is just some key pointers as to what Edison's about. So starting on the left, I've worked implementing tools in this space for a long time, and one of the issues that I've had is that they can be very difficult to configure, very difficult to change your mind, and very difficult to align to your business. So with Edison, we've spent a lot of time and effort making it super configurable. So rather than us saying this is the way you can work and you must work this way, we enable you to design this solution to absolutely meet your business needs. You set up templates, you set up ways of working, process, and so on, aligned to your organization, whether that be Prince2, PMI, whatever standards as a business you're orientated towards.
Yeah, I see that as a big benefit from the Edison 365 project. I worked with another solution on PPM before, being configurable, fully configurable, and supporting these needs instead of, okay, this is the tool, this is the way you work. It's a great benefit for working with Edison 365 project.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that we start in a certain way, and then someone says, actually, we should have a different field, a different form, a different process. You don't want to then have to stop, spend 3 weeks redesigning it and start again. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the line to that is we've spent a long time on user interface design because, again, sometimes these types of project management tools can be a little bit complex, a little bit daunting. So what we've worked on is making this solution as easy as possible for users to use. And what does that mean? Well, it means, as opposed to lots of organizations I work with will have some specialist project management tools used by a small percentage of the organization and lots of other things used by everybody else. What we can do with Edison is have one tool for every single person, every type of use case in project management land. And what does that mean? Well, it means that you actually end up with an enterprise tool. Lots of people talk about enterprise tools, but if they're only used by 10% of the population, it's not an enterprise tool.
Yeah.
Built on Office 365, we talked about that. Standalone or integrated, well, we can use Edison 365 projects to manage projects in their entirety within the system, or we can start to look at other tools as well around that. So, for example, Project Online, and I'll show you a little bit of the Project Online configuration piece as well.
Yeah.
But also, of course, Teams. You want to build out workspaces, work together. We've got Teams there. Yammer, you want to discuss things interactively. That's all there as well. And then the last point we spent time on already. You know, this is, as opposed to just dealing with the delivery piece, we're talking about the end-to-end transformation piece, which means for once, an organization can actually say, this is our strategy, this is the change we initiated, these are the things we wanted to do, these are the things we did, and these are the benefits we realized. And you get that full end-to-end value chain, which it's rare you find an organization is capable of delivering at the moment. So that's...
and basically with what I said, it's supporting the whole process and make it, let's say, all these initiatives, all these projects visible.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Ruud. So what I'm going to do now, hopefully, is swap across my screen.
Yeah, it's always a challenge, and especially if we are in different locations, but I can see the screen, so it looks good.
Hey, fantastic. Thank you, Ruud. So this is a live demonstration, so it's not canned slide deck. I always prefer that. You know, it really gives a true feeling as to what the solution is about. So this is Edison 365 projects. All of our modules look very similar as well. So if you attend some of the other webinars that we run together with JSR, you'll see the others. The first thing you'll notice is very visual, very easy to understand. You know, if we look at this screen, we can see if I wanted to create a project, it's super simple. If I want to look at any of the projects, again, I've got a card for every single project that I'm allowed to see. So bear in mind throughout this presentation, there's full access control. You'll only get the projects you're allowed to see. You'll only see the detail you're allowed to see throughout this. So super visual, easy to understand. And if I wanted to dive into any of the projects, I just click on the card and it will take me into that project and I can find out all of the information about it if I so desire. So clicking on that one, here we've got a marketing campaign project. We've got some simple information showing me about the project status and start and end, a little bit of a description. What are the benefits? I'm going to talk a lot about benefit realization, so forgive me. But we have a table here for benefits and we can see that they're owned by people. And again, I'll talk about ownership a lot. If you don't give ownership to someone, then it's probably not going to happen, right? You have to have owners of things and then you know who's responsible and accountable for delivery. So benefits have got owners and we can see lots of fields here that we can collect information against. Scrolling a little bit further down this particular project, we've got the schedule and we can look at that as a tabular view. We can look at the timeline if we want, and of course we can look at a board if we want as well. And all of these views are interactive if I have edit rights, so I can move things, edit things as you'd expect. And then finally, we've got the resource demand showing us what resources are required over a period of time. We can look at that summary or detail level, should we desire. So I've gone straight into a project just to give you a quick overview. If we come back out of this and go back to our homepage, because I think what I want to do is step back a piece, because when we look at these cards, what we'll see is we can see easily who owns them. Bearing in mind, this is all your Office 365 tenants. So this is pulling all of this data about people's names and their skill sets from your Office 365 directory. You don't have to create another list of people. It's already there. We can see what type of template this project is based on. We've got, our naming is standard project software development. You can create as many templates as you want, call them whatever you like. So we've got a standard one, software one, simple one, marketing one, and so on. And we can also see what the status is. So this is in draft at the moment, whereas these are open. And if there's been any progress, you can see the progress, of course, highlighted. So we're immediately aware of what's going on. And if that's red, then you know that you've got issues with those projects. I'm super effective at managing a program, so all mine are green, as you expect. So when we come to create a project, what do we get? We get a list of the templates that we can use. Now, behind the scenes, there might be 50 templates. These templates could be aligned to functions, to departments, to different project types. It's entirely up to you. You create the templates to suit your business requirements. So if I create a project from the major project template, I'll get a set of forms and fields and tables aligned to major projects. If I create one from the marketing template, I get what you saw a minute ago when I showed you a project. And if we go, maybe we'll try the software development one, click on software development, what will happen is it will pull together the information I'm required in a software development project as set up centrally. So we can see here, I could fill in, where is this? What category of project is it? Well, it's an IT product development. It's actually super high priority. I won't fill in everything, but you can get the feel. So behind the scenes, what has been set up is a form with fields, tables, pick lists, all of this to make my life as easy as possible. Okay. We can fill in benefits, so I can start to say, what are the benefits we're going to deliver? Who's going to deliver these benefits? And this is all using our Active Directory, our single sign-on capabilities. I can look at what are the risks. And what's interesting is, what you can see is there are 2 risks already here. And this is because not only can we create templates for you to fill information in, but you can create templates with pre-populated information. If you think about it, software development projects, quite often they all have the same types of risks. They have lots of others, but they all have some standard risks. The backlog's not prioritized properly. The customer requirements aren't managed effectively, whatever they might be. So you can pre-populate with risks you want the project manager to think about, then you actually know it's going to happen.
Okay, so let's say a template for a project grows using the tool and bringing in these lessons learned and best practices from previous projects, getting in the risks, getting in probable lessons learned, all of that.
Exactly right. And so as your maturity, as your knowledge grows, you enhance and you grow with it. Absolutely spot on.
Okay. Okay.
And what you'll notice from this template as well, interestingly, is that whereas the previous template only had details, this one's got 2 tabs. So actually, when we designed this one, we said, we want 2 tabs for information. You can have 8 tabs if you want for different types. You might have cost on one tab, risk on another tab, however you like it. And what you'll also notice is when I've gone to the plan tab, I've got a plan. So what someone has done very thoughtfully is they've actually input a template project plan for me, so I could now come in here, understand all the tasks that typically software development lifecycle follows, and then I can start to manage these. I can link things together. I can expand out tasks and so on, as you'd expect. What they've also done is very thoughtfully told me what types of resources I should start to think about. So they've given me a resource table. So I can now just come in and go, this is the resource allocation I would like. And then that's already done for me. So what we're about here is making life as easy as possible for the end user. Think about the templates you want to create, build those templates in, and then what you'll find is the adoption will increase. I'm not going to say this. as a result. So
yeah.
Going back to our homepage, I'll just take you into one last project. I won't bore you with every template, but we'll go into one that's got more tabs just to show you kind of the thought process here. So
yeah.
if we were to take a look at let's have a look. Let's take a look at the checkout free stores one.
Yeah. I have a question. Let's say which came in. Let's say the progress you see on this card in front. It's based on progress of the tasks.
Correct. So if we were to, sorry, I'm just my network bandwidth seems to have gone. I've got video and everything.
Well, we see the cards in front of us, so that's not a problem.
So it's pulling from the percentage complete of the project, which is in turn pulling from the percentage complete of the tasks within the Gantt chart, or task board, or list, however your preferred method of management is.
Yeah.
So what I'm showing you here is you've got a more complicated or sophisticated maybe template. It's got different status. It's got goals and objectives. It's got exec summary, benefits, cost benefit analysis. What are the costs? What types of cost have we got? We can look at those time phases and all of the things you'd expect. The schedule, risks, assumptions, issues, decisions, change logs. I'm just showing you this so that you can understand that there is no limit. We're giving you the tools as a business, design these forms, put whatever fields in, lists in, and so on and so forth. And so what I will do is just very quickly, and actually organizations typically avoid this, but I am going to show you how this is created because it gives you a picture. Before I do that, let's just talk about a couple of other screens. Discover, I mean, it's a super obvious page, isn't it? But I love it because I've been working in project management systems where it's just nigh on impossible to find things. We can search across everything in the search box, but we can also very simply go, what have we got in the major project remit? I'd like to know which ones are open, and I'd like to know what pool's managing. Super easy. I've drilled down. I'm absolutely knowing now what's going on. Now, imagine you're an infrequent user. If you're an expert user, you can cope with lots of complexity. If you're an infrequent user, you can't. So you can see from this interface, I could touch this solution once a month. I could still navigate my way around easily. I'm going to take you into the personal page. This is one of the huge things about Edison. What I didn't show you is that you can assign owners to anything. So tasks in the Gantt chart, benefits, issues, risks, change, whatever you create, you can have that owner field. And what that owner field will do is distribute that information to those owners so they know what they're supposed to be doing. So when I come to my page, I'm seeing, yes, all my projects and so on. But what I'm also seeing is my work. And if I click on my work, this is showing me against everything that I can. So all of these have owners. All of these are different types of information. So benefits. What are the benefits I own? And do you remember we talked about this at the start? This is, for me, it's critical. If you don't list the benefits, give ownership to the benefits, you'll never realize the benefits. So now Ivan is responsible for every single one of these benefits. He's responsible for moving them through the life cycle, and you can see how easy that is to do. But also, when you configured the tool, what you did was you said, what fields within a benefit Ivan can edit? So that could be all the fields or some of the fields. So if he clicks on edit, he gets a list of the fields that he's able to edit. So not only can I move them through the process, I can actually update them and say, do you know what? This benefit, I know we said it was going to be X, but I think it's going to be Y. I can type in a new figure, whatever that might be, save that. It updates the revised benefit estimate. So we're getting this real-time update of the benefit realization process all through. And that's just benefits. Apply that to everything. What are the major risks? I've got a bunch of major risks. What tasks do I own? So let's look at the schedule. These are all the tasks I own. So I've got, and I can filter this by project, of course. So if we look at checkout free stores, that was the project I showed you a second ago. These are the 4 tasks I'm personally responsible for. Again, I can progress them throughout the life cycle. I could also update them. And again, depends on what I'm allowed to update. So if we click on this, you can see we've done something here. Super easy. All we want is Ivan to say how long he spent on something. So I can type in here, we spent 10 hours on this, click save, and, maybe I say I've done it now. So it's finished, closed off, done, 10 hours spent on it. That's just an example. You don't have to do that. I'm just showing you something. So you might want Ivan just to update a description or something. Good. Very briefly, because I'm just conscious of time, but I did promise to show you part of a solution that typically most people don't show. And before I do that, I'm just going to show you one other thing, because the whole thing ties together. What you'll see here is this project is from a template I've called Project Online, just so I can remember it. But the difference with this template is, or this project, sorry, I've updated it in the behind the scenes. But the difference with this is I'm in edit mode, right? So I've opened it in edit. But what you can see is I can't edit this stuff here. I can edit the project category. I can edit the benefits. I could edit the risks. But what I can't do is edit the priority, the end dates, the status summary, the description. And the reason for this is this template is pulling some of its information from Project Online and allowing you to maintain some of the information within Edison. So you might be using Project Online for task management for part of your business, or resource management for part of your business, but you want to have one view of everything. We can enable that. So you could have 90% of your users on Edison with everything, their Gantt charts, the whole lot, 10% on Project Online, but still pull all of that information together and make it visible to everybody. And so that's the beauty of this, because Edison is, where Edison's absolutely going to add benefit to your Project Online implementation is around the user interface, but also around things like benefits, risks, issues, changes, lessons learned, all of those types of information, distributing it to the individuals for ownership. It's going to add huge benefit to you there. Right. Last thing, I've got two more things to cover. And what we'll do is admin. Now, I'm not going to give you a full admin tour, right? But I just want to show you the principle behind it, because I know admin can be dull, but I love this because it's super easy. So when you look to those forms, they consist of fields, tables, forms, and types. And I'll really quickly do this because I don't want to bore you completely with my passion for this stuff. Very odd, isn't it? So when you get the system, you can have it pre-configured with some samples, but typically customers do this from scratch. They work with JSR, they configure the solution and make it very specific to them. So the first step we do is we create a set of fields. And you call your fields whatever you like. You can see I've created all sorts of things like status, benefit, name, and so on and so forth. What you can also do is link to your external systems. And this is what I wanted to just show you very briefly. So I've got Project Online as an external system. And what that means is I can create a field to use in here from Project Online, and it gives me a list of all of the Project Online fields. So it's super easy to combine your information and to pull it together in one place. So I won't go into the whole thing. I'll show you one more screen, just show you how we create forms. We can use existing forms, or of course we can create a new form. And if we want to create a form, all we do is add some zones. You can see how easy it is. And then we choose which of the fields we want to, add in, what was the date approved and so on. I'm not going to, as I say, I'm not going to fill this whole thing in, but you can get hopefully you can start to see really easy to create a form. I can add in tables, I can add in the fields, or I could, as I say, I could have loaded that software development one. It will load it up for me, and then I could edit this and build a template from this one. So again, trying to make it super easy for customers. Right. I think that's
question,
enough.
Ivan.
Yes, go for it.
Question. Let's say it's all in English. It can be in Dutch, eh?
Absolutely in Dutch as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All our modules actually. And I mean, I know you guys have an amazing case study with a Dutch customer already. Quintes using the ideation module. I love that case study. So if we dive into the very last piece, and that's just reporting. So it's all very well putting all this information in, but you need to be able to get it out, right? In that, that's what's going to help you make your decisions. We use Power BI. You could use another tool, but Power BI is part of Office 365, so it kind of makes sense, but it could be anything. And what we enable you to do is access every single piece of information you've stored, including the version information as well, not just today's information, but version information. And you can build whatever reports you like. So we can see here we've got an overall portfolio view. We're just looking at business transformation. We could actually look at the whole portfolio as a whole. We could actually start to drill in and find out what's going on the medium priority projects and so on. So lots of views. We could look at cost data very easily. And this will take us into whatever view we've designed for project costs. So again, I'm focused on business transformation. I could drill into other areas. We could look at resource demand. But actually, I'm just going to focus on two views, which I like, just to finish off. The risk view, if you want to manage risk, and again, it's something that customers want to do, maybe don't have the capability to look at risk across the entire business. Here we do. We're looking at every risk at the moment across all programs and project types, but we could start to focus in and just look at, in our high priority projects, what's our risk exposure? This one on the top right is going to be the one that's clearly the most important. It has the highest probability and impact. This is the one maybe we start to focus in on. And then last view, and I'm using this view because I've gone on about benefits a lot.
Yeah, it's a part of the passion, eh? It's part of the passion you have.
Well, for me, if you don't know what the benefits are, whether the benefits are delivered, why do you bother documenting them in the first place, right? You'll never learn the lessons unless you look at this stuff. Never
spending the money, spending the resources. Why?
Yeah, exactly. And you'll never move up the maturity curve. So for me, this is hugely important. So what I have here, and I don't think I've ever come across a company that has this view, is every single benefit across every single project in my organization, I can view where they're at and the update from the person who's owned it. So you can see here, TAD, this benefit was 40,000. The revised benefit 6,000. It's flagged in red because we've just lost 34,000 off our benefit realization values. Now, if you can do this as a customer today, you're super high on the maturity. What we've done is made it really easy so that everybody can do this without putting, without a lot of effort in a super easy solution. So that's all I wanted to do, Ruud. I've talked rapidly for too long, probably. So,
no, it's a pleasure listening to you. That helps. I look at the questions because I think it's good to have two questions. Let's say you showed as an external connection with Project Online. Yeah. Is there any other expected plans to connect to other systems?
Yeah, for sure.
In the fields?
Yeah, for sure. So we have one in test for Project Desktop.
Yeah.
That you'd be able to have a detailed plan in the desktop client for Microsoft Project, but do all of the cool stuff in Edison. And then the next one after that, we'll be starting to work on Project for the Web as well, of course. For those users that have some instances of Project for the Web. And we will look at other tools, so other tools out there in the market as customers bring them to us. Quite often they bring them to us as actually they want to migrate from something, and that's a driver for us to look at maybe building a connector so they can do it in a gradual process.
Okay, and I think a last one from the question, it's typically Dutch, well, you can expect it. Cost.
So I was going to go off on an anecdote of the very first meeting I had in the Netherlands, which asked me questions I never would have expected. But yeah, absolutely. So on the cost, it's priced per user per month. Typically, the more users you purchase, the less the price is per user per month. So it's subscription based. Ruud, I would suggest if people want some detailed pricing, inquire with you. You can provide that. But what I'd say is, from an Edison perspective, we believe, and the feedback from customers is, we're amazingly economical, and typically customers save money by moving to Edison.
Let's say I move to the slides again. So I think I now shift to the PowerPoint slides. And I think it should be up. And then we move to let's say that's the challenge. Switching back again to Dutch. Ivan, thanks for the great talk. Let's say now I'm trying to switch over and probably it mixed up a little. samenvatting. So let's say to close off, there's in this webinar we provided with 4 solutions. And what you see is what our feeling is, it starts with teams, because we feel working together, working smart together, the teams is a great tool to start off and to get people working together, to chat, to call, to work on documents together. And with it, we can add these functionalities for project and portfolio management. And there are, let's say, 4 flavors. We feel 4 flavors: the planner to make a first step. Then, let's say, project online for the full suite of project and portfolio management. Project for the web, if, let's say, planner is not sufficient enough, of niet genoeg. Hier, daar gaan we al. Niet goed genoeg is om alleen met planner te werken, kun je met project voor de web de stap maken. En project online is dus de tool om het volledige portfolio stuk te tackelen. En wat we nu in dit webinar graag hebben willen laten zien, is dat Tijdens 365 Project een mooie oplossing is. Die werelden wat dichter bij elkaar brengt. Ik denk ook iets visueler maakt. Weet je, het visuele aspect wordt zeer gewaardeerd. We hebben op onze website de recordings van Quintus. Quintus heeft Tijdens 365 ID's uitgerold. En weet je, de energie die de organisatie heeft gekregen. De goede ideeën. En daar zie je ook van, oké, de ideeën lopen nu goed. Nu willen we de innovaties goed oppakken. En uiteindelijk worden die innovaties projecten. Het worden gewoon innovatieprojecten. Die wil je ook op een goede manier doen. En dat maakt een hele goede stap vooruit. En het punt is, je wil het hele proces ondersteunen. En dat zagen wij ook terug in Tijdens 365 suite. Het hele proces ondersteunen. En het transparant maken. En dat zag je met de presentatie van Ivan ook. Zowel het management ziet welke projecten er lopen, maar ook de medewerker ziet welke taken die aangekoppeld is. Dat zijn gewoon, weet je, dat zijn mooie stappen vooruit. Nou, wil ik afronden, want we lopen qua tijd lopen we goed uit. Wil je meer weten? Kijk even op onze website. De webinars zijn terug te zien. Deze staat daar, morgen staat die ook op onze site. Jullie krijgen de recordings, want het is een Microsoft Live event. En als je vragen hebt, jullie weten mij te vinden. Ivan is toegankelijk, ik ben toegankelijk. We helpen jullie graag verder. Dus als er vragen zijn, neem contact even met ons op. Kijk even de filmpjes die op onze website staan. En dan want to close off with a great thanks to Ivan for being present. Dankjewel.
Absolute pleasure. Dankjewel.
Ja, dankjewel. En aan de andere kant van de lijn heeft Peter, mijn collega, heeft gezorgd dat dit event goed geregeld was. Dat we konden schakelen, dat we over konden stappen. Dus Peter, dankjewel voor deze sessie. En voor iedereen, of jullie zitten op vakantie en gaan genieten van de vakantie. Of je gaat deze week op vakantie, dan wens ik je een hele fijne vakantie. Hou het veilig. En ik hoop je snel weer te zien. En dan wil ik voor nu afsluiten en zeggen dankjewel en tot ziens. Thanks and goodbye.
Thank you.